Good morning, Ms. Konig.
Good morning.
My name is Tommy Otake. I'm Gerhardt's attorney. I have some questions for you this morning, ma'am. If I ask a question that you don't understand, please let me know and I'll try my best to clarify it, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I want to begin a little bit with this issue of Mr. Jeffrey Miller. Mr. Miller was a co-worker of yours, yes?
That's right.
And was he a senior vice president at the company that you worked for?
Not at the time, no.
At the time, what was his position? And when at the time, I mean in November or December of 2024. What was his position at TerraPower at the time?
A director, senior director, something like that.
Senior director. Okay. Now, you understood Mr. Miller was also married, yes?
Yes,
You were married at the time, yes?
that's right.
You indicated under oath today that after the discovery of these communications with you and Mr. Miller, you and Gerhardt would refer what had happened between the two of you, you would refer to it as an emotional affair, correct?
That's right.
All right. In fact, there were times in communications where he referred to it as a secret affair, yes?
When you say he, you mean Gerhardt?
Yes.
I don't recall, but potentially.
Okay, we'll come back to that. And in fact, in the counseling sessions that you guys had, it was whatever was going on with Mr. Miller was referred to as emotional infidelity at times, yes?
As far as I can recall, yes.
Okay. Now, emotional affair, secret affair, emotional infidelity. When you were interviewed by the detective in this case following this incident we're all talking about, you were asked by the detective about your relationship with Mr. Miller, yes?
Yes, sir.
And you understood that he was investigating this case and he expected you to be honest and truthful, correct?
That's right.
And he asked you whether or not you had an affair with Mr. Miller, and your response to the detective was no, that you didn't have an affair, correct?
Based on,
My question, ma'am, is was your answer to his question, when he asked you a very specific question, did you have an affair, your answer with Mr. Miller, your answer was no, correct?
that's correct.
You described it to the detective simply as some flirty text messages with a coworker, correct?
That's what it was, sir.
That's what it was, according to you, right?
That's right.
Now, after the discovery of these messages and what was going on with you and Mr. Miller, there were times when you and Gerhardt would communicate about the situation by text messages between the two of you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And isn't it true that on December 9th, 2024, Gerhardt sent you a text that said, you engaged and continued an elaborate secret affair instead of coming to me asking to work on our relationship? You remember him sending you that text?
I'm sorry? Objection, hearsay. It's a statement.
It's impeachment, Your Honor. She said there was no affair. I can.
Approach.
Your Honor, isn't it true that in a text message on December 9th, when Gerhardt texted you and accused you of engaging in a secret affair, your response to that text was, if anything, I learned how stupid it was this time and know how to make sure it doesn't happen again. That was what you responded. That was your response to him confronting you and saying you engaged in a secret affair. You said, I learned how stupid it was and I know how to make sure it doesn't happen again, correct?
It felt like an affair to Gerhardt, and that's how we were treating it in our marriage.
Ma'am, can you listen to my question?
Sure.
Okay. My question is about the text message. Isn't it true in a text message, I'm not asking you why you said what you said, in a text message, when Gerhardt accused you of engaging and continuing an elaborate secret affair, your response was, if anything, I learned how stupid it was this time and know how to make sure it doesn't happen again. My only question is, do you recall sending that response to him when he accused you of being in a secret affair?
Yes.
You didn't say to him, it was just flirty text messages, don't worry. You said it was stupid of me, it won't happen again, correct?
Because when I did that, we would start to argue, so
All right.
you're right.
And when you said in your text message, it won't, I know how to make sure it doesn't happen again, that was in reference to the elaborate secret affair that he was referencing, yes?
To breaking his trust, yes.
Another thing that happened after the discovery of your relationship with Mr. Miller, another thing that happened is, as you talked today about working through this in January and February. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
And another thing that happened to help you guys work through this is you guys started listening to audio self-help books. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
One of the audio books that you purchased and listened to was entitled How to Help Your Spouse Heal from Your Affair. You remember purchasing and listening to that audio book?
I do remember that, yes.
You took the time to purchase it and listen to it, and that was the title of it, How to Help My Spouse Heal from My Affair, as in your affair, correct?
That's correct.
Leading up to December 2024, ma'am, prior to the discovery of your communications with Mr. Miller, you were trying to hide the extent of your relationship with Mr. Miller from your husband, correct?
That's right.
To conceal the substance of your communications and the extent of your relationship with Mr. Miller from your husband leading up to December 2024, you were purposefully deleting your messages to and from Mr. Miller on your phone, correct?
I was deleting messages on my phone, that's correct.
Yeah, so Gerhardt wouldn't see them, right?
That's right.
And by the way, you work with Mr. Miller, correct?
That's right.
You guys have work emails that you can email each other on, yes?
Yes, sir.
He had a work phone, yes?
Yes, sir.
Did you have a work phone?
No.
Okay, but you had text messaging on your phone. You could text him on his work phone about work things, yes? Through text messaging, yes?
That's an option for sure, yes.
Yeah, and emailing about work things on a work email, that was an option, right?
Yes.
But you chose to communicate with Mr. Miller, this other married man, on WhatsApp, correct?
I use WhatsApp for work for other things too, yes.
Ma'am, that wasn't my question.
Yes, I talked to him on WhatsApp, sir.
There were times leading up to and into early December 2024 where you and Mr. Miller would message each other very frequently about personal things not related to work, correct?
Yes, sir.
Some days all day long, back and forth all day long, correct?
Potentially.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to ask Your Honor to take judicial notice that December 1st, 2024 was a Sunday, and I believe we have a calendar here somewhere. May I approach, Your Honor? This is from timeanddate.com.
Or the witness?
Excuse me?
The bench or the witness? You want
You, Your Honor? Ideally, to show you the calendar.
Come on up.
December 1st, 2024.
Mr. Gardner, any objections? None at this time. Okay. So the court would judicially notice that December 1st, 2024 was a Sunday.
Okay. December 1st, 2024 was a Sunday, not a work day, correct?
Sure.
I'm going to show you now what's been marked as D123. D123. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Ma'am, I'm going to hand this to you. I'm going to ask you to just thumb through it. I'm going to ask you if that appears to be communications between you and Mr. Miller, not just on December 1st, 2023, but on multiple days.
Will you please repeat your question?
Just that appears to be messages between you and Mr. Miller back during that time period, yes?
Yes, it does.
All right. May I hand that back to you,
Sure.
please? Your Honor, I move to admit Exhibit D 123. Mr. Gordon.
No pleasure on the exhibit.
You may.
Mr. Konig, I'm going to hand you back what's been marked as D123.
Thank you.
Take a look through, and are there any redactions to that exhibit?
Yes,
Did you place those redactions yourself?
I did not.
Do you know what has been redacted?
I do not.
We have a moment.
That's how you guys gave it to us.
Okay. No objection then.
Are you aware that when the prosecutors pulled this from the computer, that's the redactions they provided to us with?
I'm not aware of
Well, hang
that.
on. Do you still want to proffer it or no?
Yeah, I'd like to admit it into evidence.
Do you have further foundation with that?
Well, I mean, I think the question is
No objection.
no objection.
No follow-up then, right?
Not foundationally.
Okay. Then what has been marked for identification as Exhibit D123 is received as evidence.
Thank you. May I approach and retrieve it?
Yes, you may.
May we publish, Your Honor?
Yes. Granted.
And Mr. Dirks, if you can please go to 12:1. First of all, this goes on for pages and pages and pages, correct?
Yes, it's over months.
Excuse me?
It looks like it's over months, but yes.
But this is all between you and Mr. Miller, correct?
Yeah,
Your coworker, right?
that's right.
Okay. Let's go to 12:1, please. Mr. Dirks, let me know when we're there. I think it's the bottom of 1908. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Can we blow up the bottom section, please? Okay. Is it possible to make it bigger? Not really. Shucks. Okay. Ma'am, I'm going to read this to you, and can you see it on the screen there?
May I have a copy?
Oh, sure. That's probably a good idea. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll turn to 1908. Thank you, at the bottom.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so the day starts off on this Sunday. Mr. Mueller texts you, and you know, there's timestamps on here, but this was the timestamps of the WhatsApp. I'm imagining he wasn't texting at 3:23 a.m. Is that right?
I wouldn't think so. yes.
Okay. But in any event, he starts on this Sunday, and he starts off, he says, "Good morning, sounds good. I hope you're getting some good sleep. I've slept a ton over the break," which has been, and we'll go to the next page. Is it possible to blow up half the page? Okay. It may not be seeable, but we'll try. Which has been nice, and then you respond and you say good morning, correct?
That's correct.
So this is in the morning on a Sunday, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It goes on, this is nice, always good to get caught up on sleep. And you say, up now, just put a fresh batch of yogurt in the fridge with some kind of, can you zoom in on that emoji, possibly, Mr. Dirks? Okay. So telling him in the morning about the fresh batch of yogurt in the fridge and with this emoji, whatever that emoji is, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, it goes on throughout the day. We don't need to read all of it. Can we go down to 6:42 a.m. on 12/1? Thanks. Okay. You indicate to him that I guess we will watch some football here too, probably. G is on call. I'm planning to decorate the tree with the kids. And he says, Mr. Miller says, gotcha, correct?
Yes.
So on a Sunday, you're telling him what you guys are doing. You're going to decorate with the kids with the trees, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then it goes on throughout the day, and you guys are going back and forth about what's going on and watching football and decorating the tree and things like that, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, at the bottom of the page there, you guys are talking about the football game. Looks like Pittsburg is winning. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then let's go to the next page. Continues on the first. And more communication. 11/13/29. If we can zoom in on that, Mr. Dirks. Okay. He says, checks back in. I hope you're having a nice morning. So good so far. That's what you guys are saying all throughout Sunday, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Then let's go down to 3/28/55. If we can zoom, blow that up. Mr. Dirks, please. Thank you. Okay. Now, he says, I'm making sure Kay eats OFC, guessing that's what the lie was about. Mr. Miller says, nope, REK, not at all, just much easier to discuss. And then he says, plus, I'm looking forward to chatting at some point anyway. And can we blow up that emoji, please? Okay. And then your response back, if we could blow that up, was now in the PM, good night, looking forward to it. And then the next morning it starts again, good morning, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. We can take that down. Now, so all throughout the Sunday, you and this married man were texting back and forth about what you guys are doing. Good morning, and then good night, and then good morning again the next day, yes?
That's right.
And then a lot of the messages that you were having with him, you deleted, right?
I did delete a lot of messages. That's correct.
Okay. So we can't see those messages, the ones you deleted, correct?
That's correct.
Have you ever heard of the word, and I may not be pronouncing it correct. Actually, have you ever heard of the word Heleu? How do you say H-E-L-E-U?
Haleu.
Haleu. What is, in your line of work, what is Haleu?
Haleu is high assay, low enriched uranium. It's like a range of enrichment for uranium-235 that would be used as nuclear fuel for advanced reactors.
Okay. I have no idea what you just said, but it has to do with your work, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And during this communications with Mr. Miller, you and Mr. Miller would use the word Haleu in your personal messages to one another as code to let the other person know when your respective spouses were around, correct?
It was for Gerhardt specifically, but yes, that's correct.
It was for Gerhardt specifically, meaning you would tell Mr. Miller, I got Haleu today, can't talk. And that was your way of communicating to him, hey, I'm around Gerhardt today, yes?
That's correct.
During this time period, leading up to December 2024, you and Mr. Miller would share photos of yourselves, both from the past and the present, and also during certain activities that you were engaged in, yes?
Occasionally, yes.
Okay. And, Your Honor, may I approach with D-124?
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm going to show you D-124. If you can look through that, and I'm going to ask you again to, if that looks to you to be messages between you and Mr. Miller, and also photos that you guys would send to each other. And let me know when you're ready.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that appears to be fair and accurate depictions of messages you guys would send to each other, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Your Honor, move to admit D-124.
No objection. Will be marked for identification as Exhibit D-124 is received into evidence.
Can we please publish and start on page P2250? Okay. Let's blow up that picture at the top there, please. You want a copy? I'll give you.
Yes, please, sir.
Thank you. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like this one?
Oh, yeah, I'll take this copy. Thank you. Okay, so this is a picture Mr. Miller sent to you. One of my two BFFs. This was in Vegas. And then you looks like you attached a heart emoji to it. Yes?
That's a reaction, yes.
Excuse me?
It's like a reaction on the message. It's not attached. It's just like acknowledge.
Got it. A heart emoji reaction.
Correct.
Got it. Let's go to the next page, please. We publish that. And let's pull up the one with the dog in it. Okay. So Mr. Miller sends you this with a picture of his dog, yes?
It says my brother's family's dog, but yes,
Wow.
a dog.
A picture of a dog, yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. It's his brother's dog, right?
That's what he says, yes.
It's not his dog. He's sending a picture of his brother's dog, right?
According to the message, yes.
And is he making a kissing face at you, or you don't know?
I don't know what it,
Okay. Let's go to page 2253. This is from October. Can we blow up the beaches on the top, please? You sent him photos of, this is you sending him photos of beaches, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
All right. One second. Now, while we're here, why don't we go to page 2256 while we have this up. Okay. Can you blow up that thing on the top that says HMA VPN service, Mr. Dark? Thank you. So, in November of 2024, Mr. Miller sent you a link to something called HMA VPN service, total online privacy with HMA, correct?
That's correct.
And that is a website, if you look further down, apparently HMA stands for Hide My Ass, correct?
Correct.
www.hidemyass.com, yes?
That's correct.
And you understood that a VPN is an app that allows you to hide your internet activity from others, correct?
That's not my understanding of a VPN. This was sent to be able to watch football that was streamed locally.
Okay. VPN service, total online privacy, hide my ass. And he sent you that so you could watch football?
That's right.
Okay. This wasn't for work purposes, was it?
This is not for work purposes, you're correct.
TerraPower wouldn't use something called www.hidemyass.com, would they?
I would not expect them to use that, that's correct.
One second, Your Honor. You also sent photos to Mr. Miller as well. And may I approach, Your Honor, with 183?
Yes.
Can I approach, Your Honor? I'll bring a copy.
Trade you.
Okay, thank you. We'll trade. If you can look through this, and aside from the text written on the bottom, do the messages appear to be messages that you and Mr. Miller were sending to each other back during this time period?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Your Honor, may we please admit Exhibit D-183?
Mr. Horn? No objection. What is been marked for identification as Exhibit D-183 is received as evidence.
If we can, Mr. Dirks, please publish the first page of this exhibit. Okay. Can we blow up the picture? Just the picture? Well, actually, I take that back. Let's blow up the message to begin with. Okay. So you were on a trip. Who's the other lady in that photo, ma'am?
That's my best friend, Gianna.
Gianna. Okay, we're going to talk about her a little later. But you were on a trip with her, correct?
Yes.
And you're texting Mr. Miller while you're. Was it just a girls' trip? Was Gerhardt there?
It was the first night of a trip, so it was just the girls the first night.
Okay. And 9:47 p.m., you're texting Mr. Miller saying, we're still out, almost midnight, did an Irish car bomb, which was her first in my 1,000th, but first in many years, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And that's a text you sent to Mr. Miller when you're on this trip, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we blow up the photo? And then you sent him this photo of the two of you, yes?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't send these, you sent this to him, not Gerhardt, correct?
I don't recall what I sent to Gerhardt that time.
All right. Let's go to the next page, please. Okay, let's blow that up. And is that you in the photo?
Yes, it is, sir.
And you send that to Mr. Miller, yes?
Correct.
And what is it? What is pre-ICB? What is ICB?
From context, I assume that's Irish car bomb. It's the
And
name
what-
of the shot.
What is Irish car bomb?
It's a drink, a shot.
And you send this to Mr. Miller on the text, correct?
That's correct.
All right, we can take that down. I'll retrieve that from you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, we just went through all of that, and when the detective asks you about it, you say, no affair, just flirty text messages, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, now, it's true, ma'am, that Gerhardt took it pretty hard when he found these messages, yes?
He was upset, yes.
Yeah, and he took, he confronted you when you were on a trip with your friends Gianna and Brian in San Luis Obispo, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And was that the trip that we were just talking about?
Yes.
So the day before Gerhardt gets there on this couple's trip, that night before, you're sending photos of yourself and your friend to Mr. Miller, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. Did he have a code word for you that he would tell you when his wife was around?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. Now, Gerhardt confronts you on this trip in San Luis Obispo, and he had actually told Gianna and Brian about it before he confronted you, correct?
That's correct.
And that upset you, correct?
Yes.
Yes, you didn't want them to know, right?
Oh, I would have just preferred to be able to talk with him first. I tell Gianna almost everything. I think I would have told her about it anyway, but
You think you would have told her about it anyway? Had you told her about it prior to him confronting you?
I mean, had he confronted me, I would have told Gianna that we were working through that. There
But-
wasn't, in my mind,
A
something.
second ago, you just said you were a little upset that he told Gianna, right?
He told them before telling me.
Right. And that upset you, right?
Yes, that felt unfair.
Now, Gianna and Brian had actually been through something similar recently, where Brian supposedly had cheated. Oh well, strike that question. Recently, Brian had an affair on Gianna, correct? And they were working through that, yes,
They were working through marital problems.
involving him in infidelity, right?
That's not my marriage. Doesn't feel like that should be my business.
I'm not asking if it was your business. I'm asking if they had talked, Gianna had shared that with you. You guys are best friends. You guys share everything.
Sure.
So is that what she shared?
I was aware they were working through marital troubles, and fidelity specifically was an issue.
And so it's true that you understood Gerhardt was turning to them for advice on to how to handle this, right?
In some cases, yes, I understood that.
After confronting you about it, as you indicated, you were immediately apologetic, yes?
That's right, sir.
And you wanted, you were apologetic, and then you guys were going to try to work through this, correct?
That's correct, sir.
There were certain things he needed. I mean, isn't it true that he said he wanted you to quit your job?
He didn't ask me to quit my job, but he did talk about it, for sure.
Okay. He did talk to you about quitting your job, correct?
Potentially, yes.
And he also demanded that you cease all contact with Mr. Miller in person, yes?
Yes.
And in fact, you had a trip planned coming up to Seattle with Mr. Miller that you ended up canceling, yes?
He would have been there. There were several people from Terra Power.
Okay, let me rephrase that. You were going to go on a work trip at which Mr. Miller was going to be at, correct?
Correct, sir.
And in fact, on that trip, you had changed your hotel to be in the same hotel as Mr. Miller, correct?
And several other Terra Power employees, yes, sir.
Your job was, well, I'm going to get into it more in a second, but your job was pretty rare and unique, right? Like that you were in the nuclear energy field, correct?
I still am, yes, sir.
Yeah, but at the time, right, when he was talking to you about quitting and leaving it, right?
Yes.
You talked about his need for intimacy, both emotional and physical. You indicated that he wanted to have sex every other day, correct?
That's correct.
And he also wanted you to be less, I guess, secretive or give up some privacy. And he wanted to see your emails and communications, correct?
He looked through my phone almost every day. Yes, sir.
And in fact, these were not just desires that were unique to him. You listen to audiobooks, like, for example, How to Help My Spouse Heal with My Affair, right?
Yes, sir.
And in that book, they recommend cutting off all contact with your affair partner, yes?
To my recollection, yes.
They recommend that you share passwords, share your whereabouts, share communications, because secrecy is what caused the damage, openness is what repairs it, right? You remember learning things like that in these books and counseling?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's what Gerhardt was asking for, right? He wanted to see what you were, just see what you were messaging with others, right?
In some cases, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, back to your career, ma'am. You mentioned him talking to you about quitting your job so that you wouldn't have contact with Mr. Miller anymore. You're a nuclear engineer, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You graduated from and got your degree in nuclear engineering in what year?
2011.
And after 2011 till about 2022, you worked in this nuclear industry, yes?
I've been in the nuclear industry my entire career, yes.
I understand that. I'm just saying specifically for 11 years, from 2011 to 2022, you were in the nuclear industry, yes?
Yes, I don't understand the 2022 distinction. I apologize.
Well, I'm going to get to that. Didn't you quit your job in 2022?
I left Westinghouse in 2022, yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's the
Okay.
distinction I'm getting at.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it.
So in 2011, you enter into this industry and you start working at a company called Westinghouse, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And you were into, is it called core design?
Yes, sir.
And what is core design?
Core design is figuring out how to load nuclear fuel assemblies into a reactor core in a way that meets the safety requirements and optimizes fuel efficiency.
Okay. And again, I'm not too sure what you said, but basically it's dealing with nuclear fuel, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you were helping to do that at Westinghouse, correct?
That was one of the jobs I held at Westinghouse in that time.
Yeah. And you were trying to move up the corporate ladder, right? You're trying to advance in the industry, yes?
Yes, in general.
Yeah. And like, so for example, in 2018, you entered a MBA executive program to try and get your MBA because you thought that might help you move up in this field, correct?
It wasn't an executive MBA program. I was doing a part-time MBA after work. I am only making that distinction because there are two different programs.
Okay, I thought that's what an executive MBA program is where you still work and do it at night, but maybe
There
we're
are
talking about
separate
this-
ones. There are separate things. That's more focused and faster.
Understood. So is more accurate to say you entered an MBA program that allowed you to work during the day and go to school at night.
That's correct, sir.
And the purpose was to try and get your degree advanced in the field, yes?
It was to develop in the role I was in. I was doing a more business-facing position at the time, and it was thought the MBA would help me develop those skills a little bit more.
Okay. And then after doing that, in 2022, you quit, right? I mean, I'm sorry, what's the wording you like to use? You left your job at Westinghouse.
I quit. I quit Westinghouse.
Okay.
That's
In
accurate.
2022, and part of that was, it was, you didn't feel it was the right fit, you're trying to move up, there wasn't opportunities, you thought it'd be best to just leave and focus on your kids, correct?
No, sir, I wouldn't characterize it that way.
Okay. But you end up leaving Westinghouse, yes?
I did leave Westinghouse, but for different reasons.
And when you left Westinghouse, there was it around shortly thereafter? Well, when you left Westinghouse, you didn't have another job lined up, correct?
I was in the late stages of another job that fell through, yes.
Okay, and then that job fell through, right?
Correct, yes.
And so when you left Westinghouse, it was after that this conversation, because at this time you guys were living in Pittsburgh, yes?
That's correct, sir.
And it was after that you guys decided maybe it would be best to move, yes?
Yes, sir.
And you guys even looked at moving to Australia, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And you knew that moving to Australia would make it hard for you to continue on in this nuclear energy field, yes?
I don't think the potential move to Australia was driving career decisions necessarily, but that would have been a complicating factor for sure.
Yeah, moving to Australia would have been a complicating factor, and you guys were considering it, right?
That's right. But they do have like uranium trading and things.
And then you guys end up settling on Maui, correct?
That's correct. Or on Hawaii at the time, yeah.
Hawaii and then Maui, yes?
Correct, sir.
And part of that, well, the timing of that, you mentioned your stepson Emil. That's Gerhardt's son, yes?
He's my stepson, Gerhardt's son from a previous marriage, yes.
Yeah, your stepson, his biological son, yes?
That's correct, sir.
And the timing of that, the reason you guys could move sooner than you had planned is because Emil was willing to move to Hawaii with his dad and you, correct?
Just to clarify, our original plan was to stay in Pittsburgh until Mill graduated high school.
Right.
And then he said he would be willing to move depending on where we went. And so we were able to move to Hawaii sooner. I
Right.
just want to make sure we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, we are.
Great.
We are. So in other words, Emil wanted to come with his dad and you, right?
Yes, he wanted to come with us.
So now, at some point, you guys get moved to Maui, and then this opportunity with Terra Power comes up, correct?
No, sir, I was employed by Terra Power when I lived in Pittsburgh.
Okay. But after you quit the Westinghouse job, right?
Yes, I quit Westinghouse, and I was hired by a contract agency called System One, and on contract to Terra Power starting that September.
Okay. And but when you move to Maui, you're a contractor for Terra Power. You're not an actual employee of Terra Power, correct?
That's correct.
And that was in part because you weren't going to live in Seattle. You were going to live in Maui, yes?
In part, Terra Power has a distributed workforce, and so depending on the location, they would either be contract employees or they would be full-time employees, is the word you mean for like
Yeah.
working for Terra Power directly.
Right. And you were contract because you were going to live in Maui.
I was contract because I lived in Pittsburgh at the time, and then they kept me on contract when I moved to Maui.
Let me rephrase. You were on contract because you didn't live in Seattle, right?
Yes.
Okay. But Terra Power was designing new age nuclear power plants that use a new type of fuel, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And your role there or your job there was a project manager, is that right?
That's correct.
So now you are in a management position within this industry, yes?
Project management.
Yeah, in the nuclear energy industry, yes?
Yes, sir.
And you had worked hard through 11 years to get to this point, and you thought it was a good opportunity, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, we just talked about Gerhardt, when he found out about this, talking to you about leaving so you wouldn't be around Mr. Miller, correct?
That came up. I recall one time that came up. That didn't seem like a key point of the discussion to me.
But you didn't want to quit your job at TerraPower.
That's correct. I did not want to quit my job. I like my job.
Do you now work directly for TerraPower?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, so you're no longer a contractor. You now have a direct job with TerraPower, yes?
That's correct, sir.
And what is your job title now?
Product manager for Halo.
Product manager, and that's a step up from project manager, yes?
Not necessarily, and not at TerraPower.
Okay. But now you're a direct employee of TerraPower.
I am, yes, sir.
And to obtain that, have you committed to move to Seattle at some point?
No, sir.
Okay. But did they change their setup where now you cannot be there and be a full-time employee?
They did, and they have several arrangements with different personnel for that.
Okay. So you didn't want to quit your job. You're still at TerraPower to this day, now as product manager, yes?
Correct, sir.
Okay. And you still travel for work and go to Seattle at times, yes?
Yes, sir.
Now, at some point you mentioned engaging in counseling, yes? After the discovery of this communications with Miss Gerhardt's discovery of your communications with Mr. Miller, right? You guys started couples counseling, yes?
Yes, sir.
And as you indicated, the counseling wasn't just about the affair; it became about the relationship, and you mentioned, his need for intimacy, and it was about the relationship, not just the issues with Mr. Miller. Correct?
That's correct, sir.
And you mentioned January into February, you felt you guys are making some progress. Correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
But the issue with Mr. Miller would still come up from time to time. Yes?
Occasionally, I would say occasionally at that time. I have a hard time recalling that in February.
Okay. And this issue of the discovery of these things prior to December, generally you describe your marriage as a good marriage, right?
Yes, sir.
So now we're heading into March and going through counseling, trying to work through it, and your birthday's coming up, yes?
Yes, sir.
And ma'am, the concept of going on a staycation to Oahu for your birthday, it was actually your idea, yes?
No, I didn't want to travel. I was saying I wanted to stay with the kids, but I did say Oahu would be fun sometime. And he was like, well, let's go to Oahu.
Okay. So you remember being interviewed by the detective in this case after the incident?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember being asked by the detective who planned this trip? And do you remember your response was, he planned the trip. He was kind of asking what I wanted to do for my birthday. And I said, sometime I want to go to Oahu. It doesn't need to be now. You remember saying that to the detective?
That sounds accurate, yes, sir.
So at least that's what my question was. The concept of going to Oahu was something that you brought up, right? And you said, it doesn't need to be now, but I've always wanted to go there on a staycation. It doesn't need to be now. And he said, oh, let's go, right?
Sure, yes.
Okay. It's not like out of the blue he said, hey, we're going on this trip. It's going to be on Oahu. This is what's happening. You raised the concept, yes?
I raised the concept of wanting to go to Oahu at some point, yes, sir, that's correct.
In response to him asking what you wanted to do for your birthday, right?
Potentially, I don't recall that.
What, is that what you told the detective?
I think you and I are interpreting that differently.
I'm not asking about interpretation. I'm asking about the words you use to
Objection argument.
the detective.
Sustained? Can I get the exhibit page in line?
Sure. This is exhibit 107, page 5, lines 13 through 15, D107. Ma'am, when the detective asked you who planned this trip, your response was, he planned the trip. He was kind of asking what I wanted to do for my birthday, and I said, sometime I want to go to Oahu, but it doesn't need to be now. That's just the words you said to the
Yes,
detective.
you and I agree on that, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Now, you mentioned the hike, and I think you said that you only learned about the hike the night before once you were already on the trip. Is that right?
About which specific hike we went on.
Okay, but you knew you were going to go on a hike, right?
We didn't have, aside from having planned to do the spa and shop around, a hike was kind of up in the air. I don't know that we had, before leaving Maui, definitively settled on going on a hike, sir.
Yeah, but the concept of going on a hike came up. That's why you brought stuff, shoes and clothes to go hiking, right?
Yes, like I said.
And in fact, hiking, it was not unusual for you guys to go on hikes. That's something you guys did from time to time, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, may I approach with exhibits D158, D160, and D154?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, I'm going to approach. I'm going to ask you to, I'm going to hand you D158. Can you, what is that a photo of? That's a photo of you and Gerhardt on a hike, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of you and Gerhardt on this hike?
Yes, sir.
And this was on apparently June 2023 in Wailuku. Well, at least the top it says Wailuku, right?
That's what it says at the top. Yes, sir.
Okay, Your Honor, may we admit D158?
Mr. Barnes? No objection. What has been marked for identification as exhibit D1?
This is with D160. This is, what, is that a photo of?
Yes, sir, it is.
So again, before we publish these, it wasn't unusual for you guys to go on hikes. That's something you guys did together, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Can we publish 158, please? Okay. And up on the screen there, can we blow that up a little, Mr. Dirks? Okay. That's you and Gerhardt on a hike, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we publish 160, please? Okay. Another picture of the two of you on a hike, correct?
I'm not sure that Gerhardt is
Oh, well,
in
you're-
that photo. I'm in there.
Okay.
It's dark.
Okay. Do you think maybe Gerhardt took the photo? Okay. And then let's go to page 154. That's also a hike you would have done with Gerhardt, yes?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, we can take those down. Now, the day of the trip comes, and you guys go to the airport on Maui, presumably together, yes?
Yes, sir, we went together.
And isn't it true that you, because it was a short trip, you didn't check bags, you just carried on luggage, right?
Most likely, yes. I don't recall, but most likely.
And you would have gone through TSA security screening with Gerhardt, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's not like he went first through the TSA screening, and then later on you came and met him there. You guys went through the screening together, put your bags through the screening together at the same time, correct?
I would assume so, yes, sir.
And no problems getting through TSA that day, correct?
Not that I recall, sir.
You get to Oahu, and the first day and night, as you indicated, you guys are having a fine time, right?
Yes, sir.
Go to the spa, go to dinner, and everything seems fine, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next day is your birthday, right?
That's correct, sir.
And you wake up, and the prosecutor admitted a letter that Gerhardt gave you. I want to read it now since it wasn't read earlier, okay?
Objection to argumentative.
Well, we'll let the jury see it now, okay? So the birthday card, in addition to that, he gave you a gift, right?
Yes, sir.
And it was a nice necklace, yes?
Yes, sir. He gave me a necklace.
Okay. So with the card, that morning of your birthday, he gives you this nice birthday card and he gives you a nice gift before you guys head out on the hike, correct?
Yes, sir.
And 1 second, Your Honor, if we could, it's a similar. We have it as D127, but I think this is the one you're admitting. Do you have a problem if we admit this? I can't pull it up. This is official. Yeah, is it in there? Okay. May I retrieve the exhibit
Yes.
with the card? I don't know what number it is, sorry. Oh, thank you. Okay, thanks. Okay. May I approach?
Yes.
I'm approaching with S-133 already in evidence. Ma'am, can you please read that out loud to the jury? This is the letter that Gerhardt wrote to you on the morning of this hike. Well, let me rephrase that. This is the letter he gave to you on the morning of the hike, correct?
This is the birthday card he gave me.
Okay, please
Yes,
read
sir.
it to the jury.
It says, "Happy birthday. Angel face, there isn't an obstacle in this world too hard for me to fight through for you. I would take on anything just to see your smile. You're one of the kindest, most giving, and selfless people I know, putting others before yourself with so much love. You're the heart of our family, and the heart is drawn. Fun, fearless, and a terrific mom. The kids and I hit the jackpot with you. Love always, G."
Okay, may I approach? Okay, so that's the card he gave you the morning of the hike, right?
That's right.
Okay. Now, in addition to the card and the present he gave you, you were aware that he had made a reservation for dinner that night, the night of the hike, at a restaurant called Fett Restaurant. You knew that, yes?
I knew we had dinner reservations. That was the extent of it.
Okay. So you knew that the night you're supposed to go on a hike in a day, and you knew that he had made reservations for dinner somewhere that night, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't know it was at Fett?
Correct.
Okay. Now, after you guys went downstairs, had coffee in the morning, yes?
We had coffee and breakfast in the morning.
And then you head to the hike, correct?
We went and got a coffee on the way out to at a different place.
Okay. And then you had drive to the hike in your rent-a-car, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Now, this topic of life insurance came up, and the prosecutor showed you one email. But during this time period, you mentioned Gerhardt was the one that kind of managed the insurance, finances, taxes, things like that, correct?
Gerhardt managed our finances. That's correct.
Pretty anal guy, yeah, in terms of managing that stuff, right? Kept records, had documents about retirement, and that's just how he was, right, during your marriage, yes?
He was a good record keeper, yes.
Yeah. And so, leading up to March, as part of you guys working through this issue, right? It's part of we're gonna be together. There was a discussion about, increasing life insurance for both of you in case something happened, to make sure that the kids were okay and the house could be paid and things like that, right?
That's correct, yes.
And in fact, he suggested that he would increase his life insurance to over $1 million, $1.5 million, correct?
I don't remember the amount of his, but the rationale is correct. We looked at how much money we would need to keep our kids in our home, and based on our pay disparity, he would need a higher life insurance policy than I would need.
Yeah, and so you remember telling the detective that yours was closer to 100 and his was closer to $1 million?
Yes.
Okay. So the effort to do this, he made it a point to make his way more than yours, correct?
Again, based on that rationale, yes, sir.
The morning of the hike, prior to heading to the hike, Gerhardt showed you an email from that morning showing that the second half of his increased life insurance had been confirmed and put into effect that very morning. You remember him showing you that email?
I do not, sir.
Would seeing that email from that morning help to refresh your memory?
Potentially, I'll look at it, sure.
May I approach? I'm not going to admit it. D-116, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you this email, and I'm going to ask you if you recall seeing that the morning of the hike. And when you're done reading it, hand it back to me, and we'll read it to yourself and then hand it back to me.
Do you want me to read the email itself?
No,
Oh, okay.
I want you to read it to yourself, and then I'm going to ask you a question when you're done. Okay. So do you recall Gerhardt showing you this email about increased life insurance on the morning of the hike?
I'm sorry, I don't recall that.
Okay. You arrive at the Pali Lookout parking lot at mid-morning, maybe around 10 a.m., yes?
Yes, a little earlier.
And when you got there, it was a busy parking lot. There was the Pali Lookout there. There was a lot of cars, tour buses, and people in the parking lot, yes?
It wasn't that busy when we first got there. There were definitely other people there.
Now, like tour buses?
I don't remember tour buses when we got there, but I can't say for sure, sir.
But there was a lot of people there, right?
Yes, yep.
You mentioned going to the lookout first and then going to start the hike, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Not too far into the hike, Gerhardt leaves you on the trail and he heads up further on the trail on his own, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And you mentioned today that was because you weren't feeling good about the heights and the cliffs and the heights. You didn't feel good, you didn't want to go on, yes?
Yes, sir.
You guys have been on hikes and activities involving heights before, yes?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'm showing defense counsel D-147, 149, and 156. May I approach?
Yes.
Ma'am, you take a look at D-147. That's a photo of you and a friend going ziplining, correct?
That's correct.
Is that Gianna?
Yes, it is, sir.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of you and your best friend, Gianna?
Yes, it is.
And Your Honor, move to admit D-147.
Sorry.
Mr. Warner? No objection. What is the mark for identification as Exhibit D-147 is received into evidence?
I'll trade with you. Can you give me that one back, please?
Sure, sir.
D-149, is that a picture of you on a zip line?
Yes, sir, it is.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of you on a zip line?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, move to admit D-149.
Mr. Warner? No objection. And
Lastly,
what
D-
has been marked for identification as Exhibit D-149 is received into evidence?
And lastly, D-156. Ma'am, is that a photo of you on a hike?
Yes, sir, it is.
Move to admit D-156.
Mr. Warner? No objection. And what has been marked for identification as D-156 is received into evidence?
Let's start, please, with publishing D-147. We're just talking about that day not feeling good about the heights and whatnot. This is a picture of you and Gianna going ziplining, yes?
Yes, sir.
This is before this incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to D-149, please. That's a picture of you on the zip line, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go to 156. That's a picture of you on a hike from 2023, correct?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay. So you're willing to stand there and take a picture that day, correct?
Yes, I was.
All right, you can take that down. So on this day, you're saying not feeling good about the heights, and that's what caused Gerhardt to go off on his own because you were going to stay back, correct?
That's why I stopped hiking, yes, sir.
But you do acknowledge that he left you on this trail not very far in from the parking lot, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, you say today to this jury that you told him, I'm just going to wait here for you, right?
That's correct, sir.
And you're under oath today, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
Isn't it true when the detective interviewed about this situation, when he gets back to you, he says to you, oh, you're still here. Remember telling that to the detective?
Not specifically, but that sounds accurate.
Okay, well, would seeing the transcript of what you told the detective help to refresh your memory?
Sure, but I don't disagree that happened. So I don't know that I need to look at it, but I will if you would like me to.
Well, it depends. So,
Sure, let's look at it.
Okay, well, let's just, to be fair, and give you a chance to look at it, okay?
Thank you.
And this is D-107, Your Honor, and Mr. Gardner. Page 7, lines 1 through 4. if you can just read, oh, sorry, line 1. Read it to yourself, not out loud.
Sure.
Read it till line 4, and let me know when you're done.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, isn't it true you told the detective that day when Gerhardt got back to where you were waiting, he said, oh, you're still here, right?
Yes, sir, that's true.
As in he thought you were going back to the car, right?
That was not the implication, sir.
But to be clear, the area that you guys stopped was not very far in from the hike, not very far into the hike, not very far in from the busy parking lot, correct?
That's right. It wasn't very far. That's correct.
You described it as about 400 yards in, correct?
I don't think I described it that way, sir.
Okay. Would seeing what you told the detective help you recall that that's how you described it?
Sure.
We're now going to go to D106, page 10. One second. I apologize. Didn't you describe it as about a quarter mile in?
That sounds more accurate, sir.
Okay. I apologize.
Is it-
Quarter mile is 400 yards, right?
I have no idea, sir.
Okay.
Need a calculator out.
All right. But you described it as about a quarter mile in, yes?
Yes, sir.
Not super far up this trail from the parking lot, correct?
A quarter mile. I mean, it's uphill and it's rocky, but yes.
But not super far into the trail, correct?
A quarter mile, sir.
So now he comes back, and you say he wants to, at some point, take a selfie, correct?
That's right, sir.
And you don't want to take a selfie where he wants you to take a selfie, correct?
I didn't want to get too close to the edge of the cliff, sir.
Yeah. And you indicate that at some point in the process of that, he says, get back over here, I'm sick of this shit, and he tries to throw you off the cliff in response to that, yes?
That was after the selfie, but shortly thereafter, yes.
Okay. And you indicated that when he initially, according to your version of events, when he initially grabs you,
Objection, argumentative. Or ask the question.
according to your version of events, when he grabs you, he says, get back over here, and your first thought was that he was kidding because he really wanted a selfie, right?
It was just very shocking. So yes, my initial reaction was, he must be kidding, yes.
But isn't it true you told the detective, my first instinct was that he was kidding and he really wanted a selfie?
Yes, sir.
And then you throw yourself on the ground, correct?
We're like wrestling. So he grabs me. I realize he's not kidding because he's forcefully moving me towards the edge. We wrestle and I throw myself on the ground. Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you did that, you were about 10 feet away from the cliff, correct?
Something like that, yes, sir.
And that's what you told the detective, you're 10 feet away from the cliff, yes?
I think I said I was about 10 feet away from the cliff, sir.
Where you end up on the ground, there were plants, shrubbery, and trees in that area between you and the cliff, correct?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned now that there's kind of a scuffle or fight going on where I think you said you bit him, you're grabbing his testicles, and there's a scuffle going on, correct?
Prior to that, he's trying to pull me and drag me, and then he gets on top of me, and then yes, we're kind of
There's a scuffle going on.
scuffling.
Yeah. And you're biting him, you're grabbing his testicles, yes?
Yes, sir.
Now, you said that at some point he has a syringe, correct?
Yes, sir.
And according to you, you did not see where he grabbed that from. Is that right?
That's right, sir.
1 second, Your Honor. 1 second, ma'am. And according to you, he's holding this syringe, and according to you, you flick it out of his hand, right?
Yes, I swatted his hand and caused him to drop the syringe. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
You mentioned that at some point, according to you, you see him holding a vial, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your belief was he was trying to load the syringe with the vial when he was wrestling with you, correct?
No, sir. The first syringe he
What?
produced.
1 second.
Sure.
Okay. So you knocked the first syringe. He's getting the second syringe. But you think the vial is because he wants to load the syringe, right?
That's right, sir.
Right. According to you, this is happening while you're on top. He's on top of you. According to you, there's a kind of a scuffle going on, and he's holding a vial with one hand, reaching for another, into his bag with his other hand, and he's also covering your mouth at some point, right?
Yes, sir. If I can explain, he has the vial in his right hand in a closed fist, and so he's using that arm and hand to kind of hold me down. And then when I'm trying to talk to him too, and when I start screaming, he gives up his search for the syringe with his left hand and will hold his hand over my mouth while I scream and then resume looking at his bag.
So holding the syringe in one hand.
No, sir. That's a vial in his hand.
I'm holding the vial with one hand, holding you down with that same hand, according to you, reaching for another thing, then covering your mouth. That's what's going on, according to you, yes?
When he's sitting on top of me, so his
Right.
weight is on me too, sir, yes.
And then you guys are having a conversation as well. You discussed that, yes?
I don't know that I would call that a conversation, but yes, we were.
Now, at some point you mentioned he picks up a rock, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he starts to hit you with the rock, according to you, yes?
That's right, sir.
And according to you, so the rock is something, according to you, he picks up when you guys are on the ground, correct?
That's my, that's how it felt. Yes, sir.
Okay? And according to you, Gerhardt then blasts you in the head with all his might 10 times with this rock, correct?
I don't know that I used those exact words, but he used the rock to hit me, and it was my impression that he was using his full force at the time when asked.
Okay? You said that he was bashing it against your face and head, yes?
Yes, sir.
He was smashing it into your head and face, yes?
Yes, sir.
Full blast, 100% of his power is what you said, yes?
Yes, sir.
And 10 times, yes?
I said as many as 10 times, sir. I wasn't counting.
Well, you told that to the detective. You told that to the grand jury, correct?
Yes, sir.
Under oath, right?
Yes?
That it was many as 10 times, correct?
Yes, sir.
Your head, forehead, and eye is what you said, yes?
That's right, sir.
To your knowledge, you did not lose consciousness, correct?
To my knowledge, I did not lose consciousness, correct?
You were taken to Queens and examinations and tests were done on you, yes?
Yes, sir.
In particular, a CAT scan, correct?
Yes, sir.
You did not have any skull fractures, correct?
That's correct. No skull fracture.
You had no facial fractures, correct?
That's correct. No fracture on my face.
You were discharged the next day, correct?
Yes, sir.
When you started to head towards where the witnesses were, Gerhardt didn't come after you, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And they help you down the mountain, and towards the bottom, you actually stand up and walk for the bottom part to get to the wall with their assistance, right?
I didn't really walk there. I was holding on to both. I was more carried than walking. But yes, I was
Well-
upright.
Okay, you were more carried than walking. Is that your testimony?
Yes, sir.
But you were standing on your 2 feet walking, correct?
I was upright.
Okay. You were standing on your 2 feet and moving, correct? Downwards, right? With their support.
Sure.
You were coherent and able to answer questions when the first officer got there, yes?
I don't know if I spoke to an officer. I recall talking to an EMT at the bottom.
Okay. When you mentioned when the witnesses got there and you're crawling away, you said Gerhardt was standing there staring, right?
Yes, sir. He was sort of frozen.
Yeah. So he saw you, conscious and alive, crawling away, talking and yelling to the witnesses. He saw that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You go back to Maui. 3 days later, you say that this work bag of his gets turned into the police, correct?
The evidence specialist picked it up on that Friday.
Okay. And you said today that you're at home and you see his work bag and you open it and you say under oath today to this jury, the words you used was, I was surprised. I was surprised to see the syringes and vials, right? That's what you said today, right?
Yes, sir.
You were aware that work bag was something he kept with him at home and would take to and from the hospital every day. You were aware of that before this incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in fact, you were aware that he would bring syringes and lidocaine and other stuff and have it at home in case of emergencies, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You knew that before you discovered this work bag, correct?
Yes, sir.
The detective asked you, have you ever seen him bring home any type of medications or syringes for work prior to this? And you said, yeah. You told the detective you knew about it, right?
He had brought things home from work before. The surprise was that the bag was full and seemed to have a lot of stuff in it. I didn't realize the volume or the regularity with which that occurred.
The detective asked you about the work bag, and you said it was something he would take to and from work every day, right?
Yes, sir.
The first call you make upon this discovery is not to the police, not to the prosecutors, but to your attorney, correct?
That's correct, sir.
This is 3 days later, right? The 27th of March, 2025, correct?
That's correct, on a Thursday.
By then you had an attorney, yes?
Yes, sir.
First call you make is to your attorney. He says, we're going to introduce this into the case, and he calls the police, correct?
I'm not sure. He says it's relevant. We need to have the police come get it. It's probably relevant.
You're discharged from the hospital on March 25th, and you return to Maui, and you continue your care, correct?
That's right, sir.
And we mentioned by the March 27th you had an attorney, yes?
Yes, sir.
On March 31st, you go to see your primary care doctor on Maui, Dr. Joanna Yun, correct? Or Yun, correct?
That sounds right. The date, I'm not certain of, but thereabouts, for sure.
She was your primary care doctor, yes?
Yes, for
You had a
sure.
doctor-patient relationship with her from before this incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
She examines you, discusses your symptoms, and during that visit, correct?
Yes, sir.
She comes up with Well, could you actually access your, that was with Kaiser, correct?
Yes, sir.
Could you access your Kaiser records at the time online?
I'm sure I could. Yes, sir.
She comes up with a diagnosis list for the visit. And then the next day on April 1st, you email her and you ask her, hey, doctor, do you mind adding traumatic brain injury to your diagnosis list?
Objection, rule of completeness. Sustained.
I'm going to get to the second part of it. We'll read the exact email. Isn't it true you emailed Dr. Yun? Hi, Dr. Yun, on April 1st, 10 a.m., 10:03 a.m. Would you mind adding either traumatic brain injury or concussion to the diagnosis notes from my appointment on March 31st? I want to make sure the documentation is consistent between my care at Queens and back on Maui. Do you remember emailing that to your primary care physician on April 1st, about a week after this incident?
Yes, sir.
She had not included that on her diagnosis list after your visit, correct? Traumatic brain injury or concussion, correct?
Correct. That's the
I'm
purpose
sorry,
of the
I apologize. She had not added traumatic brain injury to her diagnosis list, correct?
For her notes for the 31st. That's correct.
You had an attorney by March 27th, correct?
Yes, sir.
April 1st, you're emailing your doctor saying, can you please add traumatic brain injury to my diagnosis, correct?
Objection, rule of completeness.
Cross.
Sustained.
Partially, what you emailed your doctor was, can you add traumatic brain injury to my diagnosis? Yes?
Objection. Sustained.
Okay, I'll read the whole email again. You said to your doctor, would you mind adding either traumatic brain injury or concussion to the diagnosis note from my appointment on March 31st? I want to make sure the documentation is consistent between my care at Queens and back here on Maui. That's what you told her, right? That's what you emailed her, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that nowhere in your Queens records does it ever say traumatic brain injury? Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware. Sure.
Did you review your Queens records before you emailed that to Dr. Yun?
When I met with Dr. Yoon on the
Ma'am,
31st,
my question is, did you review your Queens records from your stay at Queens before you emailed Dr. Yun on April 1st saying you want to make sure the documentation is consistent between my care at Queens and back here on Maui? Did you review your records at Queens before you sent that email?
I don't recall, sir.
Ma'am, following the incident, prior to the incident, you and Gerhardt had joint bank accounts together, correct?
Yes, sir.
Joint meaning they belong to both of you, yes?
Yes, sir.
For example, you had a joint saving account with Gerhardt with Capital One, yes?
Yes, sir.
And you admit that back then Gerhardt made more money than you, correct?
Yes, sir.
More of the money in the joint account was from his earnings than yours, yes?
Yes, sir.
In other words, he put more money into that account than you did, correct?
Yes, sir.
On March 27th, 3 days after the incident, you let me ask you this way. You opened up an individual checking account only in your name, without Gerhardt being on that, and you moved $123,515.38 from the joint account that belonged to both of you, and you moved that money into your individual account, correct?
I moved a large amount of money. The exact dollars I'm not sure of, but it is in that ballpark, sir.
In the ballpark of 120, 130 grand, right?
For sure, yes, sir.
And you didn't ask Gerhardt's permission to do that, did you?
That's correct. I did not.
Now, you didn't take half of it and leave half of it for him, did you?
No, sir.
Okay. Is that something you did online,
Yes, sir.
in front of a computer,
Yes, sir.
logged on,
Yes, sir.
created your own new account,
I made a new bank account. Yes, sir.
online, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 3 days after the incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did that by yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
On March 27th, when you did move that money, you had not yet filed for divorce. Is that right?
That's correct.
You were planning to do so, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were aware, weren't you, when you did this, move the money, that once you filed for divorce, there would be a automatic restraining order that prevented you from moving money like that.
I was not aware of that at this time.
So you moved the money without his permission before filing for divorce, and you talked to your attorney about that as well, correct?
I talked to my attorney about whether or not I was allowed to move money from a joint bank account.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, and he told you you can so long as you don't file for divorce yet, right?
He did not say that, sir.
Later on, when you were asked about this, you indicated to the prosecutors that you did it because, in part, there was a need to pay back your parents $85,000 from a loan that they had given you and Gerhardt, correct? That's what you told the prosecutors, that partly why you moved that money, partially, was because you wanted to, there was a loan your parents had given you and Gerhardt for $85,000, and you wanted to pay them back with the money you moved, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your parents were not in a rush to get paid, correct? You guys had been paying them off slowly, correct?
Prior to this, we had been paying them off slowly. That's correct, sir.
And in fact, isn't it true that later on when you filed for divorce and you and your divorce attorney tried to get access to Gerhardt's retirement accounts, one of the things that was stated in that proceeding was that you had been making ends meet by seeking the financial support of your family, meaning your parents. You remember asserting that to the family court in your divorce case?
Yes, sir. I remember that.
Okay. So in the family court divorce case, you're indicating that your parents are helping you get by financially, but in response to this money, this thing about moving the money, you said that you need to pay them back the 85 grand right away, correct?
At the time when I paid them back, I did not know that they were going to be in a financial position to help me in the way they are now.
Did they say to you when you told them, hey, here's the 85 grand, did they say to you, hold on to it, use it, you're going to need help?
No, sir.
And by the way, this online banking that you did on the 27th of March, online, created your new account, moved the money. On the 27th of March, I guess that was 4 days before you asked your primary care doctor to add traumatic brain injury to your diagnosis, correct?
Objection, rule of completeness.
Sustained.
At the time you moved the money, on March 27th, that was 4 days before, sat down at a computer, logged onto it, opened up your online banking, created a new account, moved the money from the joint to that one, new one. That was 4 days before you emailed your primary care doctor asking her to add traumatic brain injury and concussion to your diagnosis list, correct?
I'm not sure of the exact date of the bank account, but yes, in general, that's correct.
You eventually do get a divorce attorney named Brianne Wong Leong, yes?
That's correct, sir.
And you guys do file a complaint for divorce, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And you indicate on the complaint that you should get full custody of the kids, correct?
Yes, sir.
Emil, his son, your stepson, continues to live with you to this day, yes?
That's correct, sir.
While the case was pending, after the incident and Gerhardt is arrested, you start having phone calls with Mr. Miller again, correct?
Occasionally, yes, sir.
1 second. Your Honor, at this time, we'd like to admit D-184. It's a summary chart from the phone records of Ms. Konig in this case, D-184. I believe the prosecutor had a chance to examine it for accuracy.
Mr. Garner, with respect to the proffer. No objection. It was been marked for identification as Exhibit D-184 is received into evidence.
May I approach?
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm approaching you with what's called D-184. I'll represent to you that from your phone records in this case, a summary chart was made that summarizes what was in your phone records. And if you could please turn to what is the third page. Let me know when you're there. It starts on September 5th, 2024 at the top. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you go down to March 29th, 2025, which is 5 days after the incident, it looks like Mr. Miller tried to call you 3 times, correct?
Please give me a second to look at this. Some of them don't look different. I'm not sure what the
Oh, I
columns
apologize. You know what? You might be right. He attempts to, it's repetitive, but he tries to call you on the March 29th, 2025, yes?
are. That's correct. March
And
29th.
And
yes.
then at 23:51, it looks like the two of you have a 13-minute phone call, yes? At least according to the phone records, right?
Just a second, please.
Number, if you go to the left-hand marking, number 620.
Yes, sir.
And that was with his personal cell phone, correct?
I'm not sure which numbers, but how it's marked, that's how it seems.
And then, again, on April 22nd, there's another call that's 31 minutes, 36 seconds long on 8/14, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then there's other calls, but that's all the ones I'm going to talk about right now. You can hand that back to me.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Ms. Konig, in the divorce case, you and your attorney are raising the allegations of attempted murder in this case to get the upper hand in that case, correct?
The
Let
criminal
me
case.
rephrase.
Thank you.
Do you recall, last week, the day this trial started, you signed off on a document that was submitted to family court called a motion to set. You remember that?
Yes, sir. I remember signing the motion to set.
And in that motion, well, you signed it and adopted it as true. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
And that motion details the allegations in this case and then states that you should get full custody of the kids, correct?
Yes, sir.
That the father should not have any contact with the kids due to a finding of family violence, yes?
Consistent with previous ruling, yes.
That you should keep your retirement and get half of his, right?
Yes, sir.
That you should keep the house, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, we've been going for a while. I may be almost done, but I'd like to take the lunch break to double check through all my exhibits and notes, since we're
Off record. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been going for a long stretch. This time, I'm going to call it early lunch break. So we'll take our lunch break now, but I'll have you come back early as well. Instead of 1:30, I'm going to have you come back at 1 o'clock. Still an hour lunch. Try to recapture our time. Leave your notebooks on a chair. Don't talk to anybody about this case. Keep an open mind. Do not try to learn about this case outside of the courtroom. All of you have a good lunch. See you at 1 o'clock. All right. Versus Gerhardt Konig, 1 CPC-25-373. Dr. Konig is present in court with all 4 counsel of record. All jurors are back in the courtroom. Ms. Arielle Konig is on the stand. Ms. Konig, you're still under oath. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. Mr. Otake, whenever you're ready, you may resume your cross-examination.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Konig. I know it's been a long morning. I only have 2 quick follow-ups that I forgot to ask you about earlier. You mentioned, when I was asking you about the fact that you were using WhatsApp to communicate with Mr. Miller instead of, your phone or email, text messages on your phone or email, I think you indicated, well, you would use WhatsApp to talk to other people at work from time to time too, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But isn't it true that TerraPower, which is a nuclear engineering, it's a nuclear energy company, correct?
Yes, sir.
The sanctioned software for company communications was Microsoft Teams, correct?
They provide Microsoft Teams for us, yes.
Right, and that's how they wanted you to message each other because it's a secure communication network, right?
Not exclusively. We're instructed to use encrypted messaging when we talk about work.
You were instructed to use encrypted messaging, right?
Yes, sir, which iMessage counts, and so does WhatsApp.
Now, in August of 2024, you went on a trip to South Africa with Mr. Miller, correct?
And another TerraPower employee, yes, sir.
I didn't ask that. I asked if Mr. Miller went on that trip with you, yes or no?
Yes, he did, sir.
And in fact, not only did he go on that trip with you, he advocated for you to be able to go on that trip with him, yes?
He helped set the group of people going, yes, sir.
And he specifically got you to be able to go on that trip with him, yes?
I don't know the answer to that, sir.
Do you recall messaging him on WhatsApp on October 30th and saying, I know I said it earlier, but I sincerely appreciate you getting me on this trip? Do you remember messaging that to Mr. Miller in August after this trip?
Yes, sir.
No further questions. Thank you, Ms. Konig.
Thank you.